In this lesson, we're going to talk about the basics of creating scripts inside of Unity. Alright, so to get started, whenever you're ready to create interactivity for your game through scripts, you need to make sure that you keep things organized. To do this, we'll need to create a scripts folder. Let's go ahead and select our assets folder in the project panel, and we'll right click in the asset browser and we'll create a new folder. Let's go ahead and call this scripts and hit enter. Double click on that scripts folder, and this will bring you into the scripts folder in the asset browser, and then you'll want to right click and create a new C# script. Let's go ahead and give this a name. We're going to call this example script and hit enter. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and double click on it, and that will bring it up inside of MonoDevelop. Now MonoDevelop is the scripting environment used for Unity. So now let's go ahead and talk about how we can add information into a script, get that to output to the editor, and then how to save it and hook it up into Unity. So we're just going to do a very simple line of code right here in our start function. I'm going to type in the word print, and what this is going to do is it's going to allow me to print a message to the console inside of Unity. So use print, and then you're going to open parentheses. Inside of these parentheses, you're going to insert a string, okay, which is a message. And so we need to open quotations and then give it the message. So we're going to say this is a message. Close quotations, close parentheses, and then end with a semicolon. Whenever you end with a semicolon inside of a function like this, this is called a statement. Okay. So now that we have created a statement, in this case a print that is going to display a message to our console, we want to save this script and we want to apply it to an object in our Unity scene. So to save a script, you need to hit Control S to save, or you can go to File and Save. Once you've done that, you can go into Unity, and then we need to apply this script to something in our scene, because right now the script just lives inside of the project folder. It's not applying itself to the game. So for example, if I hit play, you'll notice that nothing is printing out to my console. Okay. So let's hit play. Let's take that script and let's assign it to an object that's in our scene. Let's go ahead and create an empty game object. I can do this by going up to Game Object, Create Empty, and then I'm going to go ahead and just set its position to 0, 0, 0. I can do that by hitting Reset. Now its position doesn't really matter. I just like to keep things clean as I go along. So let's rename this. Let's say example script object, or you can keep it as game object. It doesn't really matter. And here what we'll do is we'll assign our script. So this can be done a couple of different ways. We can left click and drag it onto the object in the hierarchy, or we can left click and drag that onto the object in the scene. Now because it's an empty game object, it doesn't detect whether it's colliding with an object or not, so you won't be able to assign it this way. Now another way that you can assign a script is by having the object selected in your hierarchy or in the scene and hitting Add Component. Once you do that, you'll see that you have scripts here at the bottom, and then you can choose the scripts that you have available in your project. In this case, example script. Left click on that, and you'll see that it has applied itself in the inspector as a component. Now whenever we hit play, you'll see that that print works in our console and it says this is a message. So here you've seen the basic workflow of creating a script, modifying a script, applying that script to an object, and getting that to work in your game. So now that we've looked at that very simple process, let's start getting into actually looking at the different parts of a script. So we're going to start out with variables, as that is one of the key foundations of scripting. And so we'll get started with that next.